talking to me.
I know. I think you're first.
Am I starting?
Yep, you're starting.
Hi, my name's Ricky Arnold. I'm a NASA astronaut. Prior to working at NASA, I was a grade 6 through 12 science and mathematics teacher, both in the state of Maryland and international schools overseas. Came to NASA in 2004, flew on the Space Shuttle Discovery in 2009 to help finish construction of the International Space Station. And in March, Drew and I and Oleg Artemyev, who you'll have to meet later, are flying to the ISS on a Russian Soyuz to live and work for 6 months. We'll be getting home probably at the end of August, early September. Very excited about the mission. There's a lot of science that's going to be occurring, maintenance of the space station. But really something special is going on this year with, by coincidence, with Joe Acaba currently on orbit, finishing his 6-month increment in February, and then me flying to the space station in March. There's a real emphasis on a year of education in space. And that's what we're here to talk about. We are going to have opportunities for live downlinks and for demonstrations of the technologies and the science that occurs every day on the International Space Station, going around the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour and seeing 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets a day. It's a pretty cool lab to work in.
It's pretty cool. Is that
I think
it?
you're up, Drew.
Astronaut Drew Feutsel. This is my third space flight to the International Space Station. Flown once on Hubble in 2009, the Hubble repair mission, and in 2011, STS-134, the last flight of Space Shuttle Endeavour. I've got a PhD in seismology and started after high school in community college and worked as a mechanic. And I'm looking forward to flying in space with Ricky and Oleg and our other crewmates that will join up there and those that will join us after we've been there for a little while. It's an exciting time for us, and we're finishing out our training here in the U.S. We've got a couple more months to go in Russia, and we'll be blasting off early March for our 6-month mission to space.
Hi, I'm Becky Camus. I am not a NASA astronaut, but I am fortunate enough to work on STEM on Station, which is an education activity based here at the Johnson Space Center. And as Ricky mentioned, we are celebrating a year of education on station. We've got almost a full school year of astronauts with teaching backgrounds, Ricky included, on board the International Space Station. Joe's up there now. Joe and Ricky, along with their crewmates, will be doing lots of education activities during the year. That includes talking with students and educators at educational organizations all over the country. And then Ricky kind of touched on it, showing those amazing topics like Newton's laws and exercise and all the science, engineering, technology, and mathematics that we use on board the space station. So if you are paying attention, earlier today you saw a little clip during the news of the exercise demonstration, not demonstration, but demonstration that Joe Acaba did on board the space station, and both Drew and Ricky will continue filming those for us as we move through the year, so you can see what it's like to live and work aboard the International Space Station.
Awesome. So we've got lots of great questions coming in for everyone. This is to Ricky and Drew in particular. What are you looking forward to demonstrating while you're in space?
What are you looking forward to demonstrating? I'm looking forward to demonstrating that two guys like us can live in space for 6 months and hopefully be successful at it, and that it's possible to carry out research in space while not being there, so that you can have the hands and eyes and ears of astronauts there performing experiments. So it's possible to design experiments on Earth and send them to space and still get that research carried out while we're there.
And I'm hopeful that we can just shine a light on some of the 250 some experiments that will be occurring while we're there, and just put it in terms that stresses the importance of science and the process of science for the discoveries that drive our society and drive our economy.
Awesome. So this question is for Becky. How can students and teachers bring the space station into their classrooms?
Oh, that's such a great question. And there's so many ways for students and educators to get involved with the upcoming mission and the missions that are going on right now. I brought with me, I'm going to show it to you. This was actually something designed by students participating in a program called Hunch, or High Schools United with NASA to create hardware. This one was actually designed by students not too far away at Oak Ridge High School in Conroe, Texas. And that's just one example of students getting real hands-on experience and building hardware and soft goods that fly into space. But like we mentioned, students can talk to the astronauts while they're on board the space station through in-flight education downlinks or amateur radio on the International Space Station. They can take pictures of the Earth from the space station through a program called Sally Ride EarthCam. And you can find out more about these opportunities and then a whole host of resources like the video demonstrations we talked about that come with classroom lesson plans at the STEM on Station website. It should be below this video, but it's nasa.gov/STEM-on-Station, and you'll find so many great things that'll help connect your classroom to the International Space Station.
So I know both Ricky and Drew have really interesting backgrounds in the sense they're not the typical engineers we often get in space. So Ricky, how do you approach science and space from a marine science background?
Well, I mean, the process of science is science, right? It's the beautiful thing about it. It's a universal language that everyone everyone around the world understands the process of science, and that's what allows scientists of other cultures and languages to communicate with one another. On the space station, just like any other extreme environment, if you're working in Antarctica, working at sea, working under the sea, the equipment has to be and processes that you follow have to be designed to survive the challenges and to overcome the challenges of that environment. So I don't see a huge difference between working on a ship and working on the space station. In fact, my experience is they were very, very similar.
Awesome. And for Drew, does your geological science and geophysics background influence your science on the space station?
I'm looking forward to the opportunity to seeing Earth from space and getting to know it better from space. And I think as a couple of geoscientists, and we've got another one, Alex Gerst, a geophysicist, joining us. He's a volcanologist while we're in space. Together, I think the three of us are really going to have some great opportunities to look down at the Earth and see some of the processes that are changing the Earth over time. We have that historical database of images of coastlines and which is helpful to share with scientists back on Earth. And I think as a seismologist, I'll be interested in looking at plate boundaries and plate tectonics that are going on from space and really having that bird's eye view that you just can't get from textbooks or even up in aircraft. Space offers us a really unique opportunity to see all those pieces of the puzzle and how they fit together. And Alex is joining us. He's a volcanologist. I'm sure we'll have a lot of great opportunities to view active and inactive volcanoes and see those processes on the dynamic Earth that we live on from a unique vantage point that geoscientists don't often get. And so I think it's a great opportunity for all of us, and especially in Earth sciences and physical sciences with our backgrounds, to be able to share that with the science community. And I hope we are able to make maybe some neat, interesting discoveries while we're up there to share those things.
Awesome. So I know you're studying the Earth, but y'all are also test subjects too. And this is your first long duration. So do you feel like there have been any advancements? This question's from Zach on Facebook. Do you feel like there has been any advancements to ease the effects of microgravity on the body?
Certainly, the big one is exercise. We'll spend a couple hours a day exercising on the International Space Station, riding bikes, running, and lifting weights. Well, we have a resistive exercise machine to simulate lifting weights because we have learned that through regular exercise, much like it's good for you here on Earth, and we should all be exercising every day here on Earth, it has shown real benefits to bone density and the muscle atrophy that we have when we go into space. So we would expect that because of the advancements made on the space station and our understanding of the importance of exercise, that when Drew and I come back, there really won't be a discernible difference physiologically. In fact, some people come back more fitter than when they actually launch. We get really busy right before we launch. It's hard to get to the gym, but when it's hard lined on your schedule, it's a lot easier to do on a regular basis.
Awesome. And Becky, can you speak a little bit to this demonstration that Joe put out on exercise today?
Sure. So our very first demonstration hit YouTube today. You can go check it out. It's Joe Acaba talking about exactly what Ricky just said, the importance of exercise on board the space station when it comes to muscle atrophy and bone loss. And there's also some really great lesson plans that correspond with it, so you can help connect it to things that you're doing in your classroom.
Awesome. So this is a question I think anyone can answer. This is from Ken on Facebook, and he said, many young people in America dream of becoming an astronaut. What do you feel was the single largest obstacle for a young person to overcome chasing that dream?
I think it's great that people are inspired by becoming an astronaut, and I hope that the work that we do at NASA continues to inspire youth in the country and get them motivated. I think the biggest obstacle to overcome is believing in yourself and believing in the cliche that anything is possible. I'm a person who left high school and went to community college and worked there for 3 years, and I worked as a mechanic, and I never realized that those beginnings could lead me to these opportunities that I have now, but it was because I believed in that dream. I never lost sight of that goal, and I know it's a cliche, but anything's possible. You really can do anything that you put your mind to, and I think that's the biggest thing to overcome, is realizing that you can get anywhere from where you are right now. You just have to take that step.
And I think we're both hopeful that the work we're doing is going to lead to more people being able to go experience the joy of spaceflight. I hope that 50 to 60 years from now or sooner, that flying in space is kind of like flying on an airplane. Yeah.
I need it to be sooner.
Awesome. Ari on Facebook is wondering if, in terms of education, will there be more live events for people to participate in on this while you're in space?
We hope so, and it's a great question by Ari. I have a son named Ari, so maybe there's a coincidence there. But we hope so, and we will. We are planning to do a lot of downlink events, and I'm sure there'll be, through the education organization, an opportunity for students to do downlink events, and NASA will publish those and publicize those opportunities at nasa.gov. And Becky, you probably have some education outreach websites or sources that we can refer to.
Yeah, absolutely. The STEM on Station website's a really great place to go. In fact, we have a downlink next week on December 12th. You can watch students in the Seattle area talk to the astronauts live aboard the International Space Station. And NASA TV is the place to go to watch those events live. They also stream live on the web, and we populate them on the YouTube page. Students have great questions to ask our crews, and the crew does such a great job of demonstrating the microgravity environment. The popular question right now is from students is to show that fidget spinner in space and see what that fidget spinner does.
Gyroscopically stabilized.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Once you get it going. Yeah.
That's awesome. Another fun one, maybe we'll see in some demonstrations. David on Facebook is wondering, what food are you looking forward to eating in space?
Well, you want to...
No, you can take a stab at it.
Well, David, we have about 250 standard menu items in space that we can choose from, and you can imagine that over the course of 177 days, you might start to see some of those items again and again. So I can't say there's anything that I'm looking forward to except for variety. And hopefully, between the food that will be provided to us and some of the food that we've selected as alternates, we'll have enough variety so that we can continue to look forward to certain foods in space and not get tired of eating them.
It's all location, location, location.
Yeah.
If you're looking out the window at the Earth, what you're eating, it becomes a wonderful meal.
I used to say you can eat anything for 2 weeks, but now you can eat anything for 177 days.
Awesome. Here's a simple one, but I don't know if we covered the specifics. Nate is wondering, when do you launch and when do you come back?
That's a good question. We currently believe that the launch date is March 10th, right?
Yes.
And we currently believe that the landing date is August 27th.
Correct.
But plans change all the time at NASA, and so we're not going to hold our breath for those dates, but we'll keep our fingers crossed to stay on schedule.
Awesome. Christian is wondering, are you excited about going to Mars one day?
Well, if I go to Mars, it might be in an urn or something, but yeah, we're all excited about going to Mars one day, and we are very excited about helping promote the possibility of humans going to Mars. And I guess my point is that Ricky and I have been here long enough at NASA and probably mature enough in our careers that we won't see spacecraft, we won't be riding on spacecraft that go to Mars, but we're certainly doing what we can with our work here at NASA on the space station, and then we hope our next step as an organization that NASA will be moving towards an outpost or a station on the moon or in the vicinity of the moon in cislunar orbit, and then from there we'll use that as a stepping stone to then go on to Mars. So We're here to lay that groundwork, and we hope that students out there and youth are excited about opportunities at NASA and will come along and help support that trip and maybe take that trip to Mars themselves.
Yeah, it'll be our turn to watch you.
That's right.
Awesome. So I think we have time for one last question, and it'll be a good chance to talk about some of your social media accounts, personal ones and the education ones. Lisa is wondering, how do you plan on using various media sources to engage with students and educators?
Well, there'll be traditional media that certainly when we'll have press conferences, there'll be opportunities for downlinks, which will be available on NASA television. The International Space Station, NASA Education, STEM on Station, they all have Facebook accounts, Twitter and Instagram. And if you're interested in specifically what Drew and I are doing, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Astro_Ricky, and you're at Astro_Feutsel.
Yep, on Twitter and Instagram.
Spelled just like it sounds.
Spelled just like it sounds. Yep.
Awesome. And I guess before we wrap up, Becky, is there any other information we should know about how to stay in touch with the Year of Education?
Yeah, so the STEM on Station website is a great place to start. I also recommend signing up for the NASA Express message. You'll get an email every Thursday telling you about what's going on in the Year of Education on Station, as well as other opportunities and resources available to you through all of NASA Education. You can follow us on Twitter at NASA EDU and learn about more, and then hopefully once we get these guys on orbit, we can do another Facebook Live with them and really open up the opportunity to have students and educators around the world ask them some really great questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.